Wait, really?
No, that's not true.
That's
When
crazy.
Loki is like riding to like when Loki's on one of the Chitauri ships, like flying through a street, that's shot on entirely on iPhone.
Oh, interesting. Wait, Christian, what movie did you say?
Logan Lucky is the most recent movie he's done, I think, and
Hmm.
that was on iPhone.
His new movie just dropped on HBO Max, so
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, we're live. Okay. Привет, comrades, and welcome to
Wait.
episode
Well, hold
18.
on, hold
Oh,
on.
okay.
That's a lie. That's a
you
lie.
ruined it. You
Go
How?
ruined
ahead. Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Привет, comrades, and welcome to episode 18 of the Marvel Mondays initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. Today's topic is, of course, our discussion of Natasha, aka Black Widow, as part of our MCU Rewind series, where we rewatch and rank the MCU films. But before we get into our discussion, we've got a little bit of housekeeping for you today. Drink vodka, everyone. If you're watching on YouTube, consider dropping a like and sub, and don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications for all our shows from the motherland, including our video game show, the Penultimate Game Show, our TV and movies podcast called the Cross Media Show, and our anime show, Anime Nation. It's crazy, it's great. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cristian Macias, your this is curator of cinema and the host for the evening. And alongside me today is the friendly neighborhood co-host of all things Marvel and Destiny, the daddy to be, Aragon.
Hello, comrade. I'm so glad to be with you here today, ready to talk about the motherland whenever I can. So yes, put vodka up in air. Stalin did horrible war crimes. Let's just keep.
Wow. Okay. All right. What a
Praise
save. What a.
Praise Putin, but not really, just for joke. For joke for podcast. And rounding out the war table is of course our one and only director of operations, Ruben Guerrero.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this.
You made me go through that whole intro for you
Man,
to
nobody
not.
told you to do this. I didn't think you were gonna go through with it.
You're
You
such
would
a
not.
such a poser.
Yes.
Oh. Aha! Such a poser.
How you doing?
It's been so long since we've seen each other. You know.
For real, for real. Some housekeeping for you today. Tessa may or may not be streaming more Resident Evil Village this week. But if you do want some more content from Tessa and Resident Evil Village, you can catch those VODs over on our YouTube page, youtube.com/weird link. But just look up the Penultimate Conquest. You'll find us.
It's VOD.
VOD. Go check out also another playthrough that Tessa did of the Toem demo, a very cute photo adventure indie game. I love the aesthetic of that game. That black and white is
Oh my
very
God,
cool.
it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I also forgot
We
to mention, I am finishing up my Ratchet and Clank playthrough this week, and I am also playing. I finally hooked up the Xbox Series S. You know, playing some Game Pass games.
Oh, you did it, huh? You hooked up the S. You'll sell it when you get the X?
Nah, I figured I'd keep both and just have
Yeah.
the S in my room. You know,
Okay.
I'll take the X if you don't want it.
no, I need to get the X.
No. Very cool. If you're listening to us live on Twitch, it's not up yet, but we just did our Loki episode 5 review. If you're listening on YouTube, that is available right now. You can go check that out at your leisure. We can find out what we think about episode 5. Do we think King is the villain? Do we think it's Loki? Do we think it's someone else? I don't know.
Do you think it's
Don't
your
wait.
mom? Whoa.
Oh, that's good. Sucker.
Got him.
But we're going to head straight into our discussion of Black Widow today with a small bit of news, but it's related to the topic of the show. So I'll just get us ready with this. Black Widow, guys, has earned $218 million in its worldwide opening weekend. 80 million has been domestic, 78 million has been international, 60 million has been on Disney Plus Premier Access. So congratulations to Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh for their release. Cool stuff.
This is the first time that Disney Plus is really like Disney's ever released. Like, hey, this is what we made on Disney Plus. Like, I don't think they did that for Mulan, Raya, Cruella.
Well, I
I don't
mean,
think they did that at all.
They probably didn't get numbers like this for
Yeah,
those stuff.
exactly.
I'm
Like,
sure.
it's what, and it just shows like if we're talking box office science here, it just shows that obviously people are getting more comfortable going back into movie theaters, and
Gab.
Also, it could be a thing like it doesn't matter if we have a pandemic and we have something that's not like, super crazy forward in the MCU. People just miss the MCU.
Yeah.
Like we had F9 break the record with 70 million, and then this one beats it. Like a Black Widow movie beat an Fast and Furious movie for an opening weekend. Like that's incredible.
Well, you see, the problem
And
with that is like Fast and Furious is not really.
stop.
It's,
I'm gonna have you stop right there.
It's a popular franchise. That makes money.
I didn't say
For
that.
Black Widow,
That's not what I
for
said.
Black Widow to come out and people like before, like just a few years ago, were like, yeah, female-led movies don't make money. This is a big fuck you to that.
Could we do the comparison for Captain Marvel in this?
I mean, Captain Marvel, I think beat it opening weekend. I think
Opening weekend.
yeah.
Okay.
Is that what we're looking for?
Captain Marvel definitely beat it opening weekend. I wanna
153 million, so it did not. Black Widow passed by 100 million. Almost 100 million.
Oh, so it did not beat it. Okay.
Well,
No.
I mean, if you take into account with Disney Plus, which apparently like the not logistics,
I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
the numbers skewed more towards a Western audience with the Disney Plus stuff because obviously like that's where predominant a lot of the subscribers are. Just like if you count them both, that's like almost maybe 130, 140 plus million
Yeah.
opening weekend for Black Widow, which is incredible. Like
Yeah.
that is outstanding for this. Like people have missed the MCU. Like people have missed MCU movies. People have just missed movies, period. And I'm glad that everyone's feeling more comfortable. Looking at you, red states here in the South, go get vaccinated.
Yes, absolutely. Dude.
So, yeah, movies are great. Movies are back. It felt good to hear the Marvel fucking theme song again in a movie
On a
theater.
big screen.
Two things. So I was wrong. 153 million is actually the domestic number for Captain Marvel. 455 million was the worldwide for that opening weekend. So Captain Marvel did beat it, and it's probably just logistically, more theaters were open then than they are now.
Right.
But seeing these numbers from Disney makes me ask the question: like, would this have been as good if this was only a Disney Plus premiere movie that came out a few months ago?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
You have to look at it as with Disney Plus, it's an interesting beast because they did say that Falcon and Winter Soldier was the most thing that's been seen on Disney Plus like premiere for anything, and then they come out and say Loki was the most watched season premiere out of anything, all this stuff, and so it's interesting if they would have put it just on Disney Plus. I think it was smarter to them because Disney Plus typically has like that 3-month thing where it's just like 3 months of early access and then you can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like right now with this July 9th thing, you would have had to Shang-Chi would have come out after like before the expiration date ended. So like if you wanted
Right.
to be up to date on the MCU,
Yeah.
you needed to pay this $30 to watch it. And I don't because I know Marvel Studios did not want it just to be on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Like they wanted movies back. So I'm really glad that they pushed it. As much we'll get into more of why I think this movie should have released later.
Earlier.
I'm glad that they released it. I'm glad they waited. I'm glad they waited for the time is right. And the time was right for this. Like it was time. Like it was delayed so many times and it like that's got to be kind of demeaning as like the cast and crew. Like this movie you worked out so hard for, it's just like, oh, it just keeps getting delayed. But we had, a somewhat called otherworldly experience in the world last month, year and a half. So
It was probably the right call in the end anyway, because they deserve that theatrical experience. Not Scarlett Johansson deserves the theatrical experience for
Yes.
Black Widow, right? Like she deserves to be on the big screen for that portion of her character. Ruben, what do you think about that question I posited?
I mean, this movie. I had watched Endgame 4 times opening weekend, and I felt nothing about Black Widow's death. I was like, yeah, it's whatever. Like, these two are like the. Wait, let me finish. Let me redeem myself. These two are like the lower tier of the Avengers, which is true. I did care more about guys, let me finish. I did care more about Hawkeye dying just because like we met his family. We didn't really know much about Natasha. Like Why couldn't we wait? Hold on. Let me finish. Why couldn't we just see? Why
You're
couldn't
like
we?
right now, Ruben. It's just like, "Argh."
Why couldn't we see more of Natasha's background story in
Yeah.
Captain America: Winter Soldier?
This movie should have come out before Infinity War.
It should have, but I'm kind of glad that it didn't, because this movie now, Endgame's death scene makes me feel. I'm sorry, full spoilers for Endgame, but like you should have seen that already.
Yeah.
This movie makes that scene feel so much like hit so much harder. I was just telling Christian before we started Loki that I was watching a video that somebody clipped together, like edited together, and that fucking video, I was crying. I was literally crying. And it was a 6-minute video about Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff. This was a character I didn't really care about, and this movie was able to change that, which is so insane. Why didn't you put this movie out before?
So the video you're referencing is from user Slifer2812. The title of the YouTube video is in parentheses Marvel Natasha Romanoff Black Widow. I can't wait to watch it after, because you were crying when I joined this.
I was literally
Discord
crying.
call. Yeah.
I was literally crying. Also, thank you, Ethan Brandon, for sharing that with me, because oh god.
Absolutely.
Also, I want to point out that before this movie started in theaters, I was so excited. I was on the verge of crying from excitement.
Okay,
was
that's
so
actually this is perfect. This leads to my next question. Before we even get into any discussion of the movie, I want to hear what your theater experience was like, because I think all three of us saw it in the theater, correct?
Yes.
I want to start with Eric, because I think he was the most excited to watch any movie, specifically a Marvel movie, back in theaters.
So, like, my first theater experience going back was F9, and like it was incredible because it's weird because I feel as though being away from movies for so long heightened the experience for me. Like, I think like both F9 and Black Widow are very solid movies. I think they were, boosted by me not being a theater for so long. It felt
Right.
great to like get my popcorn, get my drink, sit in my row H15 that I always sit in. Right
You
in the
have
middle.
a seat you always sit in?
Wait.
Specific seat Tessa can oblige to that. H15
What movie did you?
IMAX.
Oh,
Uh,
IMAX.
The Mall of Louisiana
Hey, don't dox
AMC
yourself.
theater.
Okay.
Everyone knows I'm from Louisiana.
Okay.
I haven't given away my address. I was about to do the Tony Stark Malibu address. It'd be funny, but
That's funny.
and so right in the middle, there wasn't that many people actually, but I did see it like 7 o'clock Sunday first night. Then again, like there was basketball, there was the NBA finals going on. People may have already seen it. So the 7 a.m. yesterday was not that packed at all. It was me and my two buds watching it. It was great.
7
Today,
a.m.
7 p.m. The movies don't open that early.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, what the
they don't
fuck?
open that early.
And then I watched it today again with Tessa at 2:30, and there was a few people in there, but we still have to deal with COVID. The pandemic is still going on.
Yeah.
So you don't know if a lot more people are going, but it felt so good just to sit down and see some crappy movie trailers. Like it was good to see, like, don't forget, go check the exits. Make sure you have an eye on all your valuables.
I thought you were referencing Venom Let There Be Carnage, which was one of the trailers they played for me. That looks so bad. That looks so bad.
Let's see, what did I get? I got that Escape Room trailer, which I never saw the first one.
No.
I got the Aretha Franklin biopic. I got
Can I just
Snake
say I'm glad
Eyes.
we're calling it the
Snake
correct
Eyes gonna
way.
be cool.
Snake Eyes
Eyes.
gonna be cool.
I feel like this movie should not be coming out now. You know, it should have been. Why didn't you follow the Avengers? You know, Put out a Snake Eyes. Put out a GI Joe. Put out a I don't know
No,
any
I
other
mean, I
characters
don't
from
know.
GI Joe.
They got it. It'd be cool. It's gonna be a cool martial arts movie. So I'm excited to see it. Then we have
Mm.
what we had Eternals. We had the Eternals trailer.
I did
We
too.
had
Yeah.
and then we had the Jungle Cruise trailer. So it just felt good to be in the movies again because that's my favorite. One of my favorite places to be is like at a movie theater, and
Yep.
so it just felt so good. Like my theater experience is great. Not that a lot of people just sit there, just no. It didn't look like anyone was around me. Just focused on the movie.
So I'm gonna go next, just
Yeah.
so we can get Ruben's last.
I also
My theater experience.
before you continue, I also want you to add how you saw this movie. Was it in Dolby? Was it in IMAX? What
I was
theater
about
you
to.
went
Oh yeah,
Okay,
you
okay.
know I'm gonna give you the
Okay,
dirty
all
little
right.
details.
Okay.
So I got the opening night showing Thursday. The second showing of the day, they actually did a 5 p.m. showing, which is kind of strange. But I got the 9 p.m. showing, IMAX here in Portland. Um, I was ready, got my seat in like I-15, I-13, something like that. I don't know. I didn't have a specific seat like Eric does every showing. But somebody came up to me before the trailers even and were like, "Hey, I think you're in our seat." And I was like, "Oh, is this not I-9, whatever?" And I showed them my ticket, and she's like, I also have that seat."
Oh no.
And at this point, my edible's kicking in. I don't have the energy to get up and figure this out. And she's like, I'll go to the front. Don't worry about it. And I was like, cool. In between her going out and then coming back, I learned that they had double booked almost the entire theater. People did
No.
not know where to sit. Like, people were just like scooting over, making room for everyone.
What
Granted,
theater
Portland
was
is,
this?
I don't want to say, man.
No, like what?
It was a Regal. It was a
Okay,
Regal.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't too concerned since Portland is at like over 70% vaccinated at this point. Like, I know I'm good, and I trust in the public enough here in town to be vaccinated. I didn't get anyone near me, but there were a few people that were like no social distancing was happening, like in the front row specifically. But other than that, like it's a pretty smooth experience.
Okay.
How about
Now,
you, Ruben?
I saw this movie in an AMC, Dolby, all the way. That's how you got to see it. Um, I saw this in Jersey, and there was no, uh, you know, there's no, God damn it, what's it called? The buffer, What's
Oh,
the,
like distancing, I guess.
yeah, social
Between you?
distancing. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, there was no social. This theater was packed to the max. Like the
Wow.
only two rows that weren't filled were the first two, like right next to the screen. You know, God, I got there like 20 minutes before. No, that's a lie. I got there 10 minutes before. Picked up popcorn, picked up soda, did a bathroom check, took
Nice.
a picture with the Dolby. You know how it says what movie? Yeah, took that, and got to my seat. The whole row was full. So I was like, "Ah, shit! I gotta be that guy that's like, excuse me,
Excuse me.
yeah."
Yeah.
And yeah, I sat down, and there's these two fucking kids that didn't want to shut the fuck up throughout the whole movie. So, guys,
The whole movie.
the whole movie, well, like the big parts of the movie where they were like, "Oh my god, that was the girl that she killed," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, what are you doing? Like, just shut the fuck up and watch the movie." So,
I mean,
shut the fuck up and watch the movie, Eric.
I think we're
okay?
gonna, I think we're gonna get to a point where I'm gonna ask you when we get into like specific spoilery stuff in here, like when did people cheer to this movie? Because I had barely anyone in my theater for both times, so I just want to know, like, when with a full crowd, what were the moments where like the biggest hype? I want to say.
I'll tell you right now, none of them. No one cheered, no one clapped. And that's how I like it, baby.
No one
This is
cheered, no one clapped, except for
It's
the
like-
end. There was this
Stuff,
guy.
but
There was this guy at the end that just started yelping at random names. It was really weird.
It's a collective
strange.
experience. Like if we all are there and enjoy the moment,
But
that's
having,
what it's all about.
we're talking about this theater experience, and I'm thinking to myself, should I watch this movie again on Thursday after Loki?
I want to see it again too.
I'm booking the tickets, guys. I'm booking the tickets.
Okay.
It's
Well,
like,
this is yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Like there are some movies where like I don't want to hear stuff, but like for like Avengers, Star Wars, and stuff, I like the cheering adds to the experience. And like I don't
Yeah.
want it for all the times, but like when Hulk is punching the Chitauri dragon, and then we got the theme song going around, like, and everyone is cheering, like that adds to the experience. It's
But
it's
that's
what
an
makes
Avengers movie. That's a huge moment,
I
you
understand.
know?
It's just one of those things where like it makes the movies. That's what makes the movies the movies.
Yeah.
It's like it's a because they had like this really cool thing, like a Morgan Freeman voice thing, talking about how like the movies are back and we're all here for this collective experience of being in a dark room watching these films, and it's just I miss that so much. Like it's been
Hmm.
great to like have the comfort in my own home. Like that has been exceptional. Like being able to just play something whenever I want, that's awesome. But nothing beats like getting to your movie theater, getting in your seat,
Yeah.
watching some crappy trailers, and then watching a film.
Yeah.
Like nothing beats it. Like it's that's why I will always pick film over TV. Always, is because of that reason right there.
You know what? I respect this Eric guy. Respect him. And I agree. Like, I akin these Marvel movies to like almost roller coasters for me. Like they're the like I love the entertainment force that's behind these movies. So collective experience of everyone like shouting and like clapping and just being excited in general to watch a movie like it is 100% the way to go for these movies. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally. Let's get into our review. Just some quick fire questions. What did you think about the movie? Give me a little rating. Good, great, loved it. What?
Loved it.
Loved it.
10 out of 10 for me.
I mean,
Is
really?
is it recency bias, Ruben? Like I'm not discrediting. Like if that's what you think about the movie, that's
No,
awesome.
I
That's
just
great.
think like the story of this movie helped me appreciate the character more. So I'm sticking with that 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Putting this
High
on my
praise.
Marvel list is like I've seen people do that, and I ain't trying to get socially shot out
This-
there, you know.
This is
I-
why I'm holding off on doing. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Griffin, I'm looking at you.
I saw, that's what I was referencing.
Captain Winter Soldier at 12, man. You're great, and we appreciate you very much. But 12?
To be honest, I'm holding off on putting this into my overall list, and I'm putting it in the
Give me 6
my new
months.
list that I'm doing
Yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah, give me
So-
6 months and then we'll talk about it.
It's like I tweeted Christian, when you know, you know.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah, and like I respect that.
New one.
And so I knew I tweeted out as soon as after I saw the movie, like I tweeted out my updated list. So I knew like going after leaving it, like this is where this stands. And so to answer your question, this movie was great, like for me. Like, and that's like not taking the fact that obviously I'm biased. I love Marvel. I love all things Marvel. And it like added to the experience the fact that it's the first Marvel movie I've seen in 2 years. But like this was actually a very well made movie.
Yeah,
It really was.
I do have
there's-
one caveat. I do have one
there's some
caveat.
misses. Like obviously this movie's not perfect for me. Like there's some
Sure.
misses with it, but like this is a fun ride. Like
Yeah.
that's what's so great about these movies. It's just they have a little bit of everything. Like they'll have some comedy, they'll have some drama, they'll have some action, they'll have all these things together. And I think like what this movie does, it should have come out years earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm glad this movie exists. This is really good. I'm glad hopefully this is the first of many new female directors we have in the MCU because
Joe, let's go.
it did a good job. Like and Jack Schaefer, I think that's how I pronounce her last name, showrunner for WandaVision, wrote this movie, helped write this movie.
Mm.
Just let's go. This is a good jump start into what we want to do with Phase 4. Like have a bunch of different people tell cool stories.
Read it, you coward.
Rate it.
What did-
So I think I have it right in the middle.
No, I meant
I
like
get-
out of 10.
Oh, out of 10, I'd give this movie an 8.
Okay.
Okay, that's a bit higher than I'm going. For me, this is a good movie with great moments. Never anything more than that for me. I thought it was like a fun ride, but I left thinking like, okay, that was cool. Certainly a lot of moments that I can nitpick for sure. I have issues with the villain, as I'm sure we'll get into.
Of course.
I think I would have to give this, if I was like ranking this, I'd put it at like mid tier. Maybe you could convince me that it'd be like the higher of the mid tiers, but yeah, just a solid Marvel flick all around, but nothing too exceptional.
Now, to be clear, I do want to say that this is a 10 out of 10 for me, just because it made me feel something for the character.
And that's great.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. Like, Black Widow, I really like MCU's Black Widow because it's not this whole thing where she's just like, she does the thing with the Avengers and then we cut to a different scene where she's like, the Avengers trust me, comrade. I'm going to infiltrate them and stuff like that. I don't like it when she's like playing both sides. Like, I like it like this.
Yeah.
Or she has that redemption for herself.
I like it like that.
Yeah, baby. So I get it. But yeah, for me, it's mid tier. Like, this is mid tier. It's only because like the upper tier of Marvel is so damn good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't put it higher than where I have it on my list right now. But like, this is great.
I think for me, like what really pushed this movie forward were the characters, because we got outstanding performances from the found family unit. Amazing, dude. Like Florence Pugh as Yelena, I would want to watch Black Widow again just for her performance.
Now, I had doubts. Everything I've seen Florence Pugh in, not good. Not good. I'm looking at you, A24 movie. That scared the shit out of me.
Midsummer is fantastic, dude.
Yeah, that's emotionally scarring, so that's probably why. Like, she's great. The second viewing of this, like, she's even better. Like,
She was fantastic in this movie. And I'm glad
Thank
I
you.
liked it. I'm glad I liked her playing this role. I'm glad she was the comedic relief that the Black Widow character needed.
Yeah.
Ah.
She's such a little sister in this movie. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
great.
perfect.
Yeah. She knew, like, oh yeah, talk about a role. And Ro, damn straight, baby. Florence Pugh.
Pew,
Florence
pew, pew. Florence Pugh.
Yeah. She's great. But also
I just-
David Harbour. Oh, sorry, Eric.
No. Like, I'm just gonna like, even though this is Scarlett Johansson's movie, like Florence Pugh, there were some scenes that she was just doing laps around everybody.
Oh, yeah.
She's a phenomenal actress. And we're going to get more of her. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. But you're talking about the daddy himself, David Harbour.
Crimson Dynamo, aka Red Guardian.
I love that. I love that cut right there they had. Perfect.
Yeah. At first I wasn't really liking that they made David Harbour just like this clown, essentially, that everyone's just like bagging on. But he really grew on me. Like he has a lot of heart for his family. Like he's kind of like a shitty dad, right? But like no one's perfect. But he cares about them, right? And we learn that. And I don't know. I ended up loving him by the end of the movie. He's also got their names tattooed on his arm.
I didn't see that. That's pretty clever.
He also has Karl Marx tattooed on his
Yep.
knuckles.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that.
Sickle, baby. And I think I read an interview with him where he loved playing the big doofy loser character. Like he really enjoyed that, and I thought it was fun. Like to have. This is gonna sound weird, but like in my head it sounds good. Like I love how we have these 3 strong female characters, and we have a goofy dude just running around. Like I thought that was fun.
I think you're right. I think, yeah, absolutely.
What threw me off was him playing the big doofy character. Like, he didn't look like it in the beginning of the movie, but I guess, like, all that time in prison, yeah, you kind of dumb yourself down. I don't know. It was a weird pivot in his character for me. Like, I would have liked for him to be a little more serious, but, like, he did rub off on me pretty good. Yeah.
Whoa.
Like the way it rubbed on you?
Yeah.
In the end, I did like his character. I just wish it was a little more serious.
Okay. Any thoughts on Rachel Weisz as Melina?
I think she was, for me personally, I think she was the lesser part of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, she also wasn't in it like a whole bunch as much as the other characters were. But go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, she was cold, calculating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I guess that's really what it was. Like, yeah.
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 Shoot, I had a point to make about
I also didn't recognize
Red
him
Guardian.
in the
I
beginning.
question. I have a question. I remember what it was.
Did he really
So
play
in
Captain
the-
America?
Yes. Did he actually do? Because like Captain America was frozen.
Yeah.
I love that line.
But then people on Twitter were like, "Oh, we want to see that fight happen." It's like, what do you mean? He was frozen. What fight are you talking about? It's fake. He made that shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Steve would destroy him.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too sure about that.
He didn't get barely one hit in on Taskmaster.
Yeah, but Taskmaster, like, I don't think Steve would have been able to take down
No,
Taskmaster.
I'm talking about Steve versus Red Guardian. Are you
That's what I'm
talking
saying.
about
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know. I think it might be like Steve gets his iconic line. I can do this all day, but like he may land some hits.
Old man Cap could beat Red Guardian's ass.
Ooh, okay.
Dude couldn't even get in his suit. He could barely get in his suit.
Yeah. Again, he's also been in prison for what, like 30 years.
Still fits.
It still beats.
They have so much energy. Oh god.
Ro points out in the chat saying the pig scene was scary.
Super scary.
I don't remember a scene.
Yeah,
when
they're in the
never. Yeah, it hit me.
I had to tell Tessa, I'm like, hey, just so you know, this pig is CGI.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, like no pig was harmed right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I kept thinking like, okay, yeah, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. All right, that's enough. Let him go. Let him breathe. All right, that's enough. And it just kept going.
And I think that moment right there, like, really added to Rachel Weisz's character because, like, clearly she has like no regard. Like, oh look, I'm just gonna talk about how this cool shit we're doing. Oh wait, this living creature I have right now. Oh, he'll be fine. He had 11 more seconds. She knew he had 11 more seconds left to live. And she's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. It's just like that. What added to her? Like she was. I mean, she wasn't the star of the show, but it was cool to have this like partnership with them of like the big goofy dad strong man with like the very cool conniving smart mom. Like I thought that was really cool.
I remember thinking during that whole like scene when they're having dinner that the trailers not misled is the wrong word, but I remember I was under the impression in the trailers that this is a movie about like the family all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And it still is, but it's not the family that I thought it was going to be, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a fake family for all intents and purposes, right? It was real to them in the end, but I remember thinking like this is a cool like subversion of my expectations. Like Molina, I don't know if she cares or not about these girls, and like that is like insane for me to it's scary to think about, and like such a difference between the way that these little girls saw them at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
What was really cool is young Natasha was played by Mila Jovovich's kid.
Yep.
It was like she looks just like her mom.
Yep.
Especially like the pictures they were showing in like the opening credits. I was like, she looks just like her mom.
We should talk a little bit about the opening. I thought it was cool that we get like Natasha. We know it's Natasha because she's always having like different colored hair, and like, oh, there's the blonde kid. That must be Florence Pugh's character.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. What do we think about the opening? Set in the 80s or whatever.
95, I think.
Yeah.
It wants to be in Ohio, by the way.
Yeah.
No one wants to be in Ohio, but I thought it was cool, really cool.
I just heard that Kind of Funny podcast the other day. No, Cleveland sucks apparently.
Cleveland does suck. I'm gonna put up the full spoilers ahead. Give me a sec.
Oh, you didn't earlier? We've been spoiling the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, but it's like we've been, skipping it.
Okay.
So it's officially full spoilers ahead.
From what I've seen on Twitter, I have an actual hot take about Black Widow.
Okay.
The David Fincher style opening with the cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit was far too long and very jarring. I did not like it. How did you guys feel about that?
Ruben?
I mean, I thought it was okay. Like, I was curious to see, like, what was happening, and then when I realized, like, oh, they were actually spies. Like, Christian, I was also thinking, like, her family was just a bunch of Russian people in the... Yeah, go ahead.
This man wants in. I can see him.
What?
Check Discord.
So, Cam goes, Black Widow fucking ruled. I'm back, by the way. Then Ro goes, I love the... Oh.
Get in here, baby. Get in here.
We have a special guest.
Hold on.
Time. It's fucking time to talk about Black Widow.
Okay, hold on. Give me a sec.
I'm crashing this podcast.
Okay. That's fair.
Um,
Go off, King. It ruled.
This movie fucking ruled. This is a top 10 MCU film. I think it's one of the best like solo films in the MCU, without a doubt. Like I think the only ones I'd put it over is like Guardians 1, if you consider that, you know, solo film because it's just the group. Black Panther, and I mean like I mean like the first film, like the first film that like focuses on, because you know Winter Soldier's still better than this movie, but like I got a lot of Winter Soldier vibes from this movie. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it
Mhm.
it was just a really well made action techno spy film with an MCU skin on it, and that's what Winter Soldier was. Like it was a really good like old school spy, you know, grounded movie, but it was Captain America, and it was super super rad. There were some like just logistical things with like the one car crash with
Dude,
Natasha and Yelena.
she
I was
should have
like,
died.
yo,
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
dead.
yeah.
Like, you know, and they just walk out like, nah, they're dead. And then like the part where at the near the end of the movie where Natasha jumps out of the red room like outside, and then she grabs the pole. I'm just like, yo, we've seen this happen to Winter Soldier, and his arm was just, he was like retching from that with his metal arm. Like that was not gonna work. You
Yeah,
know
but
what I
he's
mean?
a coward, you
Mhm.
know.
But even so, like very few like that only happened a few times, but like it really like didn't feel like an MCU film to me for a lot of it. Like, you know, if it wasn't
Yeah.
like if it wasn't obviously like Black Widow and things like that, it felt like it didn't feel like an MCU film at times, and I really really enjoyed that. Bye honey, love you. Um and I had a blast. Like I just numerous times throughout the movie I thought to myself, this is really good. Like, and I don't know. There's very few MCU films where I thought that, and I know because I know that Christian saw my rank, like my updated ranking. I think I placed it at like seventh or eighth for me. And he said like, and I put it over Thor Ragnarok, and he thought that was crazy. And I get it. Like Thor Ragnarok is a very funny film. It's a very entertaining film in that sense with Taika Waititi's like comedy and stuff like that. But that's all it really was for me. Like the first time I watched Thor Ragnarok, I walked out like kind of like, I mean, it's the best Thor movie, but it didn't do a whole lot for me. Um, it had like its funny moments and things like that, and then but then everyone like on Twitter was like, "Wow, Thor Ragnarok was amazing," and I was just like, "Okay," you know. But like over time, I watched it more, and I enjoy it more, and I do think it's like definitely one of the better MCU films. But this one is like,
Mm.
I don't know. I just like I think that there's more. I will get more out of rewatching Black Widow than I will like Thor Ragnarok, and that's like one of the big reasons why I put Black Widow over Thor Ragnarok on my personal
Holy
ranking.
shit, that's actually a really good point. That makes a lot of sense.
Off,
Yeah.
gang.
So yeah, that's why that's how I kind of like that's not like the main or only reason of how I decide like how I rank my films, but like that was a big part of it. I was just like, okay, like this is, I'm still gonna get a really great action film where I'm gonna enjoy the action more than Thor Ragnarok. And I thought Black Widow was really, really funny. You know, I don't know if like the highs of humor were as high as Thor Ragnarok, but I think that just the consistency of me laughing in an action film, I just don't think it really comes up very often. And granted, like it's a big part of like Florence Pugh's character, Yelena,
Yeah.
and things like that. But like in general, I just thought it was a really, really great movie. Like the worst thing I can say about this movie, outside of those like logistical things I brought up, is that it should have came out like between Civil War and Infinity War. Like
Yeah.
Yup.
that's the only thing that I could say that, and that's not even something against the film per se, but more of the overarching universe.
Yeah.
I do think Taskmaster should have been fleshed out better.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
To me, that was the worst part of this movie.
Oh no, Taskmaster fucking ruled. And let me tell
No.
you
See, that scene on the bridge was great.
No, don't get me wrong. Taskmaster, in like every film, I mean, every part of this movie we saw Taskmaster in was great. I just wish the MCU would stop fucking doing this every fucking time. Don't introduce a villain that we're not going to see in future movies. You know, like Taskmaster should have been the character that he is in the comics, because we would have been able to see him in the future as a villain.
I don't think that's a. Here's the thing though, like it's hard with how the MCU works and there being so many heroes. there's only so much room for the villains. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
only so much room for the villains to really have like a super fleshed out like story arc. And I think that there are some films that did it super well. Like I know a lot of people don't feel this way, but I still think oh god, what's his name?
What movie?
Ronan the
Quicksilver?
Accuser.
Oh.
Ronan. I thought Ronan was great in Guardians. Like I was just like, I feel like I got everything that I wanted out of this guy as a villain. You know, I know that some people were like, oh, he was whiny and stuff like that, but like, I don't know. I still really enjoyed him as a villain, especially for that movie against the
I
Guardians. You
agree.
know, I think that, I mean, I'm sure we'll see, um, uh Michael Keaton in this next Spider-Man film in some aspect. I don't know if he'll be like the main villain, obviously.
Cam, let me tell you a little
But
something about
I think
Spider-Man.
I think
I'm
I
kidding.
think
Don't
he'll
say
come
it.
back.
Kidding.
I think he'll come back, but like more or less his stuff is done. You know what I mean? Like I think that
Mm.
they did a good job with his go about as a MCU villain. Like it's just like Loki is like, even though you know the way that they're doing his story arc in the MCU is a little bit different from what it is in the comics. Loki is an incredibly notable villain, antagonist, whatever you want to say, compared to like Taskmaster in the comics.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
I knew, like I wasn't a big Marvel guy outside of like certain like Spider-Man, you know,
Mhm.
like Spider-Man and like
Yes.
Fantastic Four leading into the MCU. But I knew who Loki was. Like I knew before, like going into Thor, I know who Loki is.
Right.
Taskmaster, I didn't know until like way later. You know, like just so. I think that there's certain villains that get that opportunity, those or antagonists, whatever you want to call them. But like Taskmaster just isn't at that level. You know what I mean? Taskmaster isn't like Green Goblin or like
Right. I
Doc Ock
just,
and
for me, it would have been better if it wasn't just the throwaway character, you know?
I definitely think that they could have done more with Taskmaster in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
But I like how they utilize Taskmaster in this new way
Yes.
that like made it seem like less of a throwaway, if that makes sense. Like I get like they always could do more, but I think that like doing a different take that was more personal to
Yeah.
Natasha's story benefited the use of Taskmaster more than just being like, oh, he's just some guy that like is an enigma that can mimic people's moves and then he dies and that's it. You know what I mean? It could have been a
Mm.
lot worse than what we got.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I don't know. It feels like it's for me like a little bit in the middle. Like either focus more on Taskmaster or focus more on like the redemption or like the Nat and the Florence Pugh's relationships with their family. It was a little bit too much in the middle for me. I have another question for you guys that I've been thinking about for the past 2 days.
Before you continue that, Rogo's is in the chat, and he says, I think that they did Taskmaster better than the character has ever been before. And he says, not amazing, but like Cam said, he's always been kind of throwaway or meh. Which,
That's true. That's a good
Let
point.
me
Like
jump
I
in
haven't
on
read the
here.
comics. I don't know if there's like a really good Taskmaster story, like with like, you know, where he's the villain to
yeah, but
one of the
like the
heroes,
man,
but like
the villain has mastered each and every hero's fight style. So I just feel like that you just kind of like, oh yeah, he's in this movie and then that's it. You know? Eric, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. So usually with Taskmaster, he is very ridiculous. There's an episode of Ultimate Spider-Man where he dresses up as a physical education teacher and sends all the kids into a obstacle course to see who is Spider-Man. Like it's ridiculous. He dresses like he has the same
It's actually
Taskmaster
really
voice,
fucking smart.
and he he puts all these kids and like so Peter obviously fakes everything to show like, hey, look, I'm not Spider-Man. Like Taskmaster is a ridiculous villain. Like it's insane,
Yeah.
and they were able to make Taskmaster a. Here's what I got from that. Like Taskmaster was like a vehicle for Nat's past, obviously because it was the daughter. It was quiet, like Taskmaster was quiet. It was always there. That's the past, literally coming back to haunt Natasha
Right.
throughout this whole film. It could show
Yeah.
up anywhere, like that. That's what a Taskmaster felt like. She was everywhere, all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what the smart thing about it. Like I got serious Winter Soldier vibes before Bucky like got
Started talking.
at the end. Yeah, like he was like that first scene he's in when he flips over Nick's car. terrifying. Taskmaster on the bridge, terrifying moments. This appears to be not human.
Yeah.
But
That was it, and that's like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good at the end where this redemption thing, because the abuser is gone. Like, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, the abuser for Taskmaster's character is gone. So why would she not be, redeemed? Why would she not not be Taskmaster anymore? Because she doesn't have that person over her shoulder the entire time, basically telling her what to do. Now he's gone. Taskmaster can do whatever the hell they want. And so that's why I think like Taskmaster here was exceptional. Like they really did a good job of, especially the first mimic scene when she does the flip on Natasha.
Yep.
And then they have the stance and they stand up. It's like, this is it. Like, this is awesome as Taskmaster.
Oh my god, I forgot about the chase scene when they're sliding down like the subway.
Yeah.
And he throws the shield. That was
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
and it slides down.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then when they're fighting in the red room, and you just like the fight starts off Black Panther style, then you just see like the uses of Cap's fighting style, and like really cool how they like
you see the Bucky knife flip too.
Yeah, the Bucky knife flip. Yep, super cool.
Very cool stuff.
I
wanted to.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm just gonna stick with this Taskmaster stuff all over.
Well, for me, like, I think Black Widow, even if it's a mid-tier MCU movie for me, I think it's still way more fun and exciting to me as MCU property than anything the shows has done. And I want to see how you guys feel about that.
100%,
I definitely think that. I mean, I think Loki is the best show so far. But we'll have to see. The thing is like,
can they stick the landing?
Well, not even that. It's like they only have an episode left, and I feel like this doesn't feel like the final episode that's coming up. You know what I mean? And I think that's been an issue with. I mean, that definitely was an issue with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's because of like COVID and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just I feel like WandaVision, like, even though I'm not enjoying the show as much as Loki, I think it was like consistent. Like it was consistent. I think it told. I don't feel like it had to like cut anything or like jump through any hoops to like get the full story that we needed for Wanda and Vision. And setting up to Doctor Strange. But like this one, I'm really enjoying each episode, and I think I'm enjoying each episode as the show goes on. I would probably say like I think episode 4 is actually my favorite so far. But I don't know. I just feel like that there's a lot to do in this like last episode, and because like I don't know what. We know that Kang is supposed to be like the villain in Ant-Man, Quantumania, but like, how is this gonna set that up? Like, is that supposed to set? Is that what this is supposed to do? Is it supposed to like help set up Quantumania, or is it? What is it really doing outside of just this, kind of redemption like character piece for Loki, like for the MCU moving forward? That's kind of where I'm at, because I feel like
character redemption for Loki. Let's be clear.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that this one is I do think this one's it's more compelling for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I don't know really where it's going to go, what it's going to set up, cuz I don't know when is Ant-Man supposed to come out? 2023?
I think so.
So it's just
that far out, huh?
That's really far. Like I don't know. So I hope that it sticks the landing. We'll see.
Ken, if I could be frank with you, I don't think that they're going to be setting up. There's so much that Loki is supposed to be setting up. We were told that before Loki started that this is going to be essentially, I'm using my own words, but the Big Bang of Phase 4, and I don't think it's that big of a bang. I think this is what starts off the multiverse stuff. I don't think we see Kang the Conqueror. If we do see him, I don't think it's going to be setting up the Ant-Man and the Wasp stuff. I think that's a couple movies, like we'll probably see him in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, maybe at an end credit scene. That's being generous, probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're putting too much on Loki. Like
Well, it could
Oh,
be just like the pieces, right? Just like the road
yeah.
to Kang,
But
right?
but even then, it's just like, first off, I want to say, like, I don't think Kang is showing up in episode 6. No, I don't. I definitely don't think that.
it's
I don't
Mephisto,
think
right?
that. We were saying no. I don't think we were saying. You know what? You guys were saying earlier, because I had to step away and I came back. That you guys were saying that a Loki is like the big bad behind all this. Like, that doesn't make sense to me personally. I don't see why that would happen. I don't know. It just like, there's no signs to that to me. Like, I get the idea. Like, Loki's been seeing all these different Lokis and stuff, but that just seems uh bizarre to me. But I just there's got to be more. In my opinion, there's got to be more than just like, hey, here's a show about Loki and introducing, like, like the sacred timeline. That might be important moving down the line. But I just like, and I know that, like, the main, like, theme of this saga so far is just like the multiverse stuff. But it's got, like, there's got to be more than just, here's this story about Loki. Like, what are they gonna do moving forward with Loki? Like, is because, like, Loki probably, like, doesn't seemingly isn't gonna be in, like, the new Thor movie. So it's just like, what's his role moving forward? Like, what is
Right.
he going to be doing? So that's kind of where I'm at. It's just like, there needs to be something more than just, hey, here's a story about Loki realizing that he can be a good person, and he can, like, trust other people and, like, not be lonely and, like, things like that. There needs to be more.
I'm gonna throw my man Eric in here because I know he loves the shows. I think WandaVision has like probably one of his favorite MCU properties that we've seen yet. How do you feel about like the movies versus shows so far as we're moving into Phase 4?
I think it's interesting because like you can do both now. Like as we've seen with the end credit scene of this movie, like we're doing end credits for TV shows now, and I think it's just a nice shared world. Like we don't have to think of them as just movies and TV shows anymore. Like this is it. Like we have this stuff now. It's I don't know if you want to call the TV shows. I'm not going to call them DLC because that doesn't do a service to them.
You'll
Like
see.
No, it's a part of the
l-
MCU.
yeah, like no,
Yeah.
in the sense that like sometimes some people may view them as like, oh, this is not the movies and stuff, but this is just as important. Like this is setting
I don't
up. Like
have
we're
to
getting the
watch
spoilers.
that, so I
No,
could just watch the
like, this is
movies.
important because literally, this is going to be what the Hawkeye show is about. Like, Yelena is going to go after Hawkeye,
And that's okay.
and we're
That's another thing that I was just like, that I did find a little confusing in that post-credit scene. I'm like, she knows Clint. Like, Natasha mentions Clint to
yeah,
Yelena. Like, why would she think, like, Yelena's not stupid.
No,
Yelena's not stupid. So it's just, I really don't. I think that, like, a lot of people are thinking, like, oh shit, like, this show is gonna be about, like, Yelena killing Hawkeye and then Kate Bishop. It's like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. Like,
that's gonna happen
she,
in the first episode. And
this is like a throwaway thing. Like this is like she's going to
yeah,
go to Hawkeye and they're going to have a conversation about this whole
Yep.
thing. It's like, look, I literally was going to kill myself. Like I was going to be the one to throw it off, but Natasha like sacrificed herself. Like I was willing to die right there, but your sister wouldn't let me. And I think this is like really important because like obviously the Hawkeye show is going to be about Kate Bishop taking up the mantle now, and
yeah,
like Jeremy Renner
exactly.
going away. So I think this is just a nice story. Like this is what's important to this character right now. Like she's here, she goes to her sister's grave. Look, the man who was responsible. Maybe it's an extra thing we didn't see the face in the shot, but she like looks at the shot and goes, "Oh my God, Clint is the reason why Natasha is dead. I'm going after this dude. What the
Right.
fuck?
Yeah.
I gotta know what's going on." And so that's why I think like these are great now because it's just all one big thing. Like you can take the big giant epicness, put them in the movies, and now you have the super small, awesome character stuff in the TV shows. Like you could devote a whole episode to Clint and Yelena sitting at a fucking dinner room table talking about the events of Endgame. Like you can do that, and that's what's so great about it.
Yeah, and I do have these questions about Yelena too, because it's just like,
Mm.
when Natasha, like, hands her the vial and, like, the data and stuff like that, basically being like, you're in charge of this now. This was like that was basically like her passing the mantle in my eyes. It was like, you are now Black Widow, basically. So it was weird when, like, I see her working for Valentina. I'm like, again, Yelena's not stupid. She knows that her sister worked for the Avengers. Why are you working for this chick?
Yeah.
Like there's like so many questions, and I like I don't want to just take it for verbatim, like verbatim of just like, oh, like she just decided to work. Like there's got to be more to it, and I really hope that like this Hawkeye show, which I believe is the next show that's gonna come out, right? Like of the actual MCU, that's not What If.
So we got What
Oh,
If,
that's not What If.
then we got Miss Marvel after that,
Miss
I
Marvel.
believe, and then we're gonna have Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is gonna be
Okay.
like the late November, December show.
Of this year.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah.
they it's gonna be
Oh,
late
wow.
2020,
Oh,
2021. Excuse me.
See, I haven't been really following the release schedule for the TV shows, but like I thought that like What If was like the last show of this year, so that has me happy. But yeah, so I'm just like, I hope that we find out more about Yelena, because like Yelena is like one of my favorite characters in the MCU now. Like I love her.
Yes.
And so I really just like I want to know more, because it seems like that Valentina's forming the Thunderbolts, or like her version of the Avengers that are more like they're willing to do what it takes to like get the job done type
Whatever it
people,
takes.
and yeah, whatever it takes. But I don't know. I just hope that like we get those answers soon, because those are like the small like question marks that I have after watching Black Widow for the
Yeah.
MCU moving forward.
My hope is that whatever they're doing with the Thunderbolts will eventually lead into Young Avengers, and that Yelena will have her found family through like the Young Avengers, like Kate Bishop and Spider-Man, Miss Marvel,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. That'd be amazing.
And I'm
And we have
telling
like
you,
oh, sorry.
I'm
Go ahead.
still I still am hoping that Bucky is leads the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Like he trains the Young Avengers. I still want that to happen so bad.
He needs something. We can't just leave
He
him hanging
does.
every single show or movie.
He does.
Eric, go ahead.
And there's been like a 4-year period in between Black Widow and obviously this end credit scene, so something could have happened to Yelena since then.
Right.
Like she could have tried the hero thing, it didn't work out. Vanessa comes up like, "Hey, you want some money?" Okay. So
Well, it is
no,
like
no.
it is like she says in Endgame.
I'm just saying like there's something could have happened, and now she finds out Natasha's dead, and she goes, I don't know, I hate to use she snaps, but she something happens to her. So like that, like we have this window here where anything could have happened to her. Also, did y'all notice that Yelena's wearing what appears to be the Clueless jacket in the post-credit scene?
The what jacket?
The Clueless
Clu-
jacket, as in the movie
Clueless.
Clueless?
Yeah, the movie Clueless. It looks like the same jacket in Clueless.
Oh God.
Like the black and yellow.
Yep.
The checkered pattern. Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I think you are onto something. I think Yelena probably got snapped, and the rest of the family did too. Because if you think about it, Black Widow did say, sorry, Natasha did say, in Endgame, like this is all she has now. Like the Avengers of whatever it was is what. Yeah. I just blew your mind, didn't I? This is all she
Think about the
has.
snap.
Yeah, there you go. So
That's what's so great about it.
this is why she decided to give up her life, because
Yeah.
she had nobody else. This was it. I do want to ask a question about the end credit scene. Do we feel like Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character reveal in this movie was? I know this was supposed to happen, and then we were supposed to see her in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought this was better, that we saw her in Falcon and Winter Soldier first, and then this.
I agree. I liked it because like she actually introduced herself to Wyatt Russell's character, U.S. Agent.
Yeah.
And that was like her introducing herself to us. It wasn't just like because like if they did it the other way around,
Yeah.
big Marvel fans who know who Valentina is would have been like, oh my god,
Yeah.
but that would have been like 5% of the theater. You know what I mean? Like, but for everyone else, just like, oh, who's Valentina, and look it up and like, and go
That's
from
putting
there.
it lightly. I would have been like, who the fuck is that?
Because now I'm just
Elaine.
like.
Elaine.
Because now I'm just like thinking about like moving forward, like who we could see like Valentina recruit in the future. You know what I mean? Because again, we know that like the Young Avengers are coming. I wish, and that's something I wish that they touched upon more in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, because Isaiah's nephew was supposed to be the Patriot, and that was like not really talked about at all. Um, so we'll see if that actually comes through to any sort of fruition. And
Could I make a suggestion of who's next?
sure.
Scorpion. No. Okay.
No.
All right. I'll just go
No.
fuck myself.
No, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
You can't introduce Matt Garkin that way. Like you
Yeah.
gotta let him. You gotta let him be with Spider-Man first, and then we'll.
No,
put him
no.
with
I'm
Thunderbolt.
saying after. I think he's going to be a big part. Okay. All right.
I got you. I hear what you're saying now.
I'll
But
go
I say
fuck
you
off.
can't
I'll
just
go fuck off.
you
I'll go
can't
fuck
just
off.
It's in the jar, dude.
I'll go fuck off. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
because
yeah.
oh, sorry. So because I don't know who's the villain, who's gonna be the villain in Hawkeye. You know, I don't think it's gonna be Yelena. I think it's gonna be someone that we don't know who it is. Maybe whoever that person is ends up being recruited by Valentina, because like it feels like that they're going for like they it's really hard to recruit like people that have legitimate superpowers that are like beyond just human,
Yeah.
you know, like so it's like how do you so I think that the shows where it's the more grounded villains, those are the people that are going to eventually get recruited by Valentina. I think Hawkeye is like the next because I don't know about Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is also a possibility, but those shows seem more realistic on where she'll show up.
Absolutely. My last question, and it's a super simple one. Is this a good send off for Natasha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm so conflicted. I'm so
I-
conflicted.
I feel as though
What does that mean? Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Ed.
no, Eric, you go first.
I feel as though it was good for her because, like, you know, we've had all the stuff on Natasha, like in Avengers. We had Dracov's daughter mentioned from Loki. We had the ledgers dripping red. We have all this backstory stuff. And it was nice to see what happened in Budapest. Like, it was nice to know what the thing was. And I
Right.
feel as though, because her arc is done. Like, she got to sacrifice her life for her family. Like, that's what we talk about with Loki. Like, Natasha's arc is done. Like it's good. She got to do what she wanted to do. Like she wanted to do this. And so this was just a nice little and that's why I think like knowing that she died, I think added to this movie for me.
Yes.
Because like she felt a little bit more reserved, I think, in this movie. Because, you know, she's dealing with her actual family right now. Like I think she acts I don't want to say Scarlett Johansson acts better, but I think the character is better with the Avengers and like her with her actual family that she had growing up. I think she was like a bit more scared, and I thought that added to. I thought Scarlett Johansson's performance really added to that. But for this movie, this was about getting ready for the new Black Widow. Like I know Kevin Feige said that this movie is going to introduce a lot of new MCU stuff, and I think this was a nice baton toss. Like obviously, I think it'd be awesome because I know with the multiverse we can do anything, and we can have Scarlett Johansson come back if we want to. But I think
Florence Pugh, baby.
I'm just saying. I think like obviously, I mean I love Natasha Romanoff like as a character, and so obviously I want more Scarlett Johansson in it. But this was a good baton. This was a good handoff. Like I think this was really good, and I'm excited to see what Florence Pugh does. I think she's gonna do a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm conflicted because like first off, I do think I don't think that I don't like that this came after knowing that Natasha dies. I think that like her death would have been because like her death for me was like, oh, this is sad. Like this is sad, you know, when I watched Endgame. But like it wasn't as impactful as what they did for Tony and Steve. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like
Right.
it wasn't even though they're all the Avengers, they're all the OG Avengers, but like let's be honest, like you know Hawkeye and Black Widow kind of got like the crap end of the stick when it came to like uh their treatment and their stories and things like that. Like granted, like you know that criticism was implemented in Age of Ultron, where it focused heavily on Hawkeye and like why like just a guy with a bow is like still a super important member of that team. But like, you know, I think that if we got this stuff, I would have like I probably would have like legitimately cried when like Black Widow died
Yeah.
in Endgame.
Cam, I'm gonna send you a link to a video that I saw today that
and
made me cry.
see, like, now that Endgame came before this, every time I watch Endgame now, I'm not gonna be sad. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be like, fuck. I wish that this was like I wish Black Widow was before Endgame, because this part would have like just destroyed me the first time. Because I really love Natasha a lot more than I did like 24 hours ago when I saw the movie. Before I saw the movie, and yeah, man, it just sucks to. I think it just sucks because like she got her own movie finally, but like she's already gone. You know what I
It's
mean?
her
It's just like,
send
man,
off.
She deserved better.
yeah, she definitely deserved better, and I just think that man, it just sucks, man. It just
It
sucks.
hurts.
It hurts. It really does. And that's why I'm like interested about this, because I think that if they did something like what they did with Hawkeye throughout the like Avengers films, because like at that point like I was all about Hawkeye. I was like, yeah, Hawkeye's cool. Like, give me more Hawkeye stuff. Like that first scene in Endgame,
Oh,
crushing, and it's just like I just didn't get that with Natasha throughout the entire MCU. Like it's like, oh, that's sad. Like and then when they mention like, oh, do you think that Natasha's really alive? Like, did she come back and things like that? Like, obviously, I'm like, yes, I want her to come back, but like, I knew that she wasn't, but it just didn't hit me the same way. I think that like, the other characters, and I
Yeah.
don't know, it just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, I really do think that like she just got like kind of the worst kind of treatment for like all the main, not even just like the main six, but like even with like Ant-Man. Like when Ant-Man saw like in Endgame saw his daughter, that was like probably the
heartbreaking.
hardest I cried in the entire movie.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, I think that was the hardest I cried in the entire movie. And that's because I really love Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man's one of my favorite MCU films.
Number
Yeah,
one, baby.
it's because also you're
So,
seeing Paul Rudd break, and he's normally like this happy-go-lucky guy, and this is like the one time we get him very emotional,
yeah,
and
and
like that makes me feel.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I love this movie, but I just think in the grand scheme of things, when you think about how Natasha's just gone and probably will never come back, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
She's gone,
Um,
but maybe the vest lives on. What's up?
I also want to thank Cam for also saying like that death scene in Endgame was, it was okay. Like, it's
He did not
sad.
say that.
It's
You're
sad.
twisting his words.
No, what I'm saying is you guys were making faces at me like I wasn't crying, like I'm a monster. But it is sad, but like I didn't have a connection to Natasha. Like this
Whatever. I mean-
movie gives me that connection, and that makes that scene worthwhile.
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to say, like, again, like, it's kind of like the thing where like when you see something and you think it's funny but you don't laugh, like, oh, that's funny,
Yeah.
but I'm not laughing about it. I was like, oh, that's
Exactly.
sad, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna make me like emotional, if that makes sense.
My
Same thing-
bummer with same with what?
But the same thing with Gamora. Gamora was also like kind of the similar boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
It's a little bit of a bummer that like most of what we're taking away from Black Widow is like, oh, it makes Endgame so much better. Like, yeah, I mean, it does,
It
but like,
makes me like the character more. Like it definitely gives me more. Like for those of you that don't know, like I am all about the backstory. Like the more backstory you give me about anything, the better. Like this is exactly what I needed to care about this character, and it did its job for me.
well, me and Eric can cry whenever she falls in Vormir, right, Eric?
And I will be crying now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like you have to look at Hollywood in itself. When we were talking about earlier, like when people thought that female-led superhero films wouldn't do anything, and then 2017 Wonder Woman just fucking kicks down the door, and then like we should have gotten this movie in 2017, 2018, and I don't know if that's a production thing. I don't know whose fault that is.
I can answer that question for you. Kevin Feige actually wasn't officially in charge of the MCU until after Phase 2.
That
So
is
that's
right.
why we didn't get a Black Widow.
Was it what Alan?
Yeah,
I forget what his
it
name
was-
is.
I
Alan
don't
Holden?
remember his. I don't know the previous person in charge, but
When it was
that was basically
divided
the reason.
into
I think-
TV and movies. Sorry.
I know we had like Jeff Lowe was in charge of TV and stuff, and so it's wild. Like this movie would have hit more because I know remember Tessa looking over at me and like when she has her blonde hair getting the jet, like I wish this was after Civil War and like her going to Infinity War. Like that would have made like her appearing in Infinity War a little bit more hype when she's taken down Midnight
Yeah.
Glaive and them. And so yeah, it is a bummer. But I, obviously this isn't just because like Ruben, like that it really is great that you like Natasha now. Like because Natasha is great. And I'm just, like because this is like I've like read Black Widow stories, like I've seen Black Widow cartoons, all this stuff, and so like I was already like super enthralled with the character. Like obviously her Iron Man 2 debut, not the best for her. Like I was excited she was in the MCU finally. Like here's Black Widow. This is one of the most important characters in the Marvel comics right here. And then like Avengers, you get her kick-ass debut where she just like give me a minute on the phone and just beats the shit out of everybody,
Yeah.
like Black Widow would do. Like and so Cam's right. It is bittersweet. I wish this would have come at a different time, but I'm happy that you really like the character now. I hope you go pick up some Black Widow comics because they're really good. But go ahead, Christian.
Oh my God, I just remembered that's the post-credit scene when Yelena whistles wait like
Oh
at the
yeah,
grave of Natasha. That got me, dude. Like fuck, she's actually
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
What a
That was,
powerful moment.
I'm watching this movie again on Thursday.
and the thing is, like the MC, like Kevin Feige is fucking playing with our heads. He knows that we have like this glimmer of hope that Natasha's actually alive because there was like that extra second of silence where it was meant for you to be like, oh, is the response gonna come? Is she alive?
Oh.
And it's just no, and it's just like, fuck you, Kevin Feige! How dare you?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has said he
So-
would like to keep working with Scarlett Johansson, so I'm
Bring her back.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Well, we'll
So-
see if ScarJo wants to be back, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing with the multiverse being a thing,
Yeah.
it's
I could see-
possible. It's
Have her come
possible.
back as a villain.
I would actually like if we could talk about Dreykov for a little bit. Like
Yeah.
in terms of like an actual villain, I thought he was outstanding. Like hear me out.
Yeah.
Like it's like how Tessa equates Frollo, how Frollo is one of the best Disney villains because that's a person that actually fucking existed back then who's like persecuting people who are different and everything. This guy right here, Dreykov, that's a person who exists. Like human trafficking, you know,
Yeah.
abusing women, like this kind of person exists. Like that one scene like after Natasha realized she can't hurt him and he does like the backhand thing like he's going to hit her. I'm like those people fucking exist out there
Yeah.
and they're terrifying. And that's why even though he was a throwaway, like he was memorable to me because
No, he
that
was better
is-
than Taskmaster.
like he was
Oh, yeah.
like he was that's human scum right there. Like that's a good villain, right? Like Tessa looked at me like, you know, we have all these MCU villains that are terrible. She looked at me, she's like, I've never wanted a villain to die more. I've never wanted someone to be beaten
I agree.
more than this guy. And I thought that was really great. Like that's a real world villain right there. This isn't someone who, you know, has 6 magical gems and snaps half of life. Like that's a real person.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's what added to it.
I don't know about you
agree.
guys, but I could almost smell his breath when he's like in front of Natasha's
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
He's like just a
Uh,
gross dude.
I also liked how Yelena was the one who killed him. I was hoping that was going to be the case.
Yep.
Not Natasha, because it was just kind of like a representation of like all the Black Widows that he has manipulated throughout. Like I mean, obviously Natasha like for the longest time, but like she's been
Chemically
Far-
manipulated. Yeah.
well, yeah, but not even that. It's just like she's been far and away like past that part of her life.
Mm-hmm.
While Yelena was like literally
Still
a
in the
few weeks
shit.
ago.
Yeah.
So I like how she was the one to do it. It was just like a good representation of like the like a metaphor for like all the Black Widows that he's manipulated throughout the years or their lives basically.
Shout out to Natasha, literally breaking her
Banging
nose,
her
like
nose.
dislocating it. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
insane. What a great character moment for her. One of my favorites of that movie, I think.
I enjoy the line also. Where it's like it's hard to be tough when you're not around like little girls, are you? Because like that's literally like his power was taken away from him right there. And then like with abusers like that, like that's all they want. And so she's like, look, you've never had a conversation. When's the last time you had talked to someone who wasn't under your control.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time you did all this? Like, you're literally nothing. And so he's like, don't tell me to stop. It's like, dude, this is a mirror at people out there. And I thought that was incredible.
It's actually really great because, like, if you think about it, Natasha's trying to stop like this mass manipulator, but like at the end of the day, she's more manipulate. Like she out manipulated him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you just think about like all these moments in the MCU where she's just manipulated her enemies, and like so when she just like turned around and smiled and said thank you for your cooperation, I was just like, oh. Oh
Let's
shit!
go.
It just reminded me immediately. I was just like, while watching the movie, of like the scene with Loki where she's just like, so that's your plan, and it's just like, and just walked away. I was like, she is just like that is like, that's her superpower. She has a superpower, and it's just being able to play dumb and like get the information that she needs from her targets. It's insane.
You're making me want to watch this movie again.
I'm
I think I'm
watching
gonna
this
do it.
again on
Yeah.
Thursday, man.
Fucking
Good
again, dude. It's so
I might
good.
have to.
Some beautiful shots in this movie, especially like when it's
Absolutely.
in Norway. Like,
It's so well shot. It's very well
Mhm.
shot.
shout out to that. So
I've been watching
Any-
the. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
Christian. No, go ahead.
No, you have a point.
No,
I'm gonna wrap up.
there's no point. I was just gonna say I've been watching the Netflix show Ragnarok, so I thought that Thor was gonna pop into this. It would have been funny.
just stop.
I-
Just stop.
I know,
regret-
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you.
Any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap up the show on Black Widow?
Too late, but I'm glad it exists. I'm glad this movie exists.
Yeah.
Very much.
Cam.
Let me. Someone else go first.
Natasha Romanoff, thank you for everything you've done. Yeah, thank you.
Long live Florence Pugh. I can't wait to see more of her in
Shout
action.
out to DuckTales being in the background, by the way. I can't believe I didn't mention that earlier.
Oh,
DuckTales.
DuckTales, right? Yeah, that's true.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I saw it in the
Duck-
credits.
DuckTales, like when they come into the house initially, when they're about to get ready for dinner, you see DuckTales theme in the background.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Christian. I almost forgot it. So you were talking about Florence Pugh and her supremacy.
No, it's fine. She's credited, I think, to be on all 6 episodes of Hawkeye, so I need more of her. Yeah.
Oh, is she
Those are
really?
my thoughts.
Woo, baby, let's go! I'm so excited.
She's great.
Seventh best MCU film is what I'd say.
I need to go
We-
see Cam's list
we
again.
also did not rank this movie, but we'll save that for another
Go,
time.
no, we're gonna rank it now.
No, we're gonna rank it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
Ruben, I'm sorry, you don't get a thing right now
Yeah, that's
because
okay.
your
That's
Stanley
okay.
cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were saying this before we were recording. I realized that I thought there was more Stan Lee cameos. I heard on Twitter there was gonna be more, but no, there's no more.
I will try to not create a tangent on whatever this collective list y'all got, and just try and rank based off of the list that you have.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go first, Christian, since it's my time, my segment. I didn't mean to say my time, my segment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is a good hero but without a good villain? So welcome to our segment where we rank the MCU villains. So right now, we're almost done with phase 1. We had to stop for Loki and stuff. So here's our list right now. Number 5, Abomination / Thunderbolt Ross from The Incredible Hulk. Number 4, Whiplash and Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. Number 3, Tony himself, Obadiah Stane from Iron Man. Number 2, Red Skull from Captain America, the First Avenger. And number 1, Loki from Thor. So,
Y'all put Red Skull over Obadiah?
now Obadiah,
I didn't. Did I?
Okay, listen.
I like Obadiah. He's
we
cool.
love Obadiah, but I'm sorry, but Red Skull has to go first. All right. No,
Right.
second.
So-
Okay.
here we go. We are going to, I think we're going to double this up again. We're going to do Taskmaster Dreykov.
Yep.
Yep.
So for me right now, just with the combination of both characters, when you had the ferocity of Taskmaster with the manipulation of Dreykov, over Thor Loki, who wasn't where he's supposed to be yet, I have this the number 1 duo right now.
Wow.
Over
because-
Thor Loki.
Because Loki doesn't become like the superstar in the MCU that he is until Avengers 1. So like this one, he's still trying, like he has a purpose, in Thor 1, but I feel as though this was also a character that has obviously ties to Natasha's past in both ways. One, the person that manipulated her and abused her. Two, her literal past haunting her, that is Taskmaster slash Dreykov's daughter. And it was just this what felt like unnatural force always following her, because obviously I can't speak with y'all's personal lives, but like sometimes the past does haunt you, and sometimes it has a giant sword and uses T'Challa claws and Captain America's shield. But I digress. For me personally, I have Taskmaster Dreykov as number one, just of this group that we
Okay.
have so far.
Okay.
I am gonna have to say I would put it under Thor Loki. And the reason why I think that is because I think that Loki, I think a lot of the compellingness of Loki's why Loki, because I see this like not just as an origin for Thor, but I see it as an origin for Loki in Thor. Despite that movie not being super great overall compared to the rest of the MCU, I think that Loki is like the best part of that movie. That isn't the banishment scene, because that scene is like one of the best cinematic moment. Like that's such a great cinematic moment where fucking Anthony Hopkins fucking banishes Thor. So good. But I
Right.
think that like just there's just so many moments in that movie where like I feel bad for Loki even though he's the villain.
Yeah.
And especially the part where like he yells "Tell me" to Odin. I'm just like, fuck. Like I just feel like that his story is more tragic than Natasha's. Um because like there is like I get like being taken from your like real mother and like everything that happened uh with Natasha leading up to all the manipulation and stuff, like just living for however long they lived as gods. I don't know if they aged the same. And not knowing that like your whole life is a lie, basically, and how you feel like disrespect, underappreciated, undervalued, compared to like I don't have a sibling, but like
Mhm.
I could see, but I understand
Lucky you, am I right,
feeling
guys?
I understand feeling underappreciated and undervalued with like the relationship with my dad growing up. So like that hits harder to me than what Natasha went through. But I think that it is super painful, and I think that like the way that they did do the stuff with Taskmaster and Dreykov was very, very good. Like I think Dreykov is fantastic. As a collective, see now I'm thinking more.
He's talking himself out of it as he speaks.
Talking myself out of it because like
I have
I'm
a
just
special
like
power, Cameron, that I can make. I was able to convince Ruben here that Thor is better than Incredible Hulk, because he was very stubborn about that.
oh, Thor
I
is
So
can
better than Incredible Hulk.
yeah,
It definitely is.
I can back
But
Cam up here.
I do think that I think they're. Oh man.
you're right. Like obviously, when we talked about like Loki and Thor 1, very Shakespearean. They're like these two brothers, opposite
Yeah.
sides,
Yeah.
going at each other. And Loki has purpose in here. Loki literally just wants his dad to say, "Look how what I did. I can do this." And
Yeah.
I think that's really important. But I think like Loki himself, like he was his own character, and that's what made it so powerful. It's like it's these two big giant ideologies going at each other. Whereas Taskmaster and Dreykov is literally integral to Natasha's past. And so these people, like Dreykov, has manipulated her the whole time. So there's a very personal connection to this. There's a very personal connection to her, because this is the person who seemingly made her who she is today. And now she has nowhere to go. And then, like I said, Taskmaster literally hunting her, just like personal things happen. Christian, go ahead.
No, I'm so torn because on one end, like you're absolutely right. Like
I'm
it's,
I,
uh huh.
I'm still gonna say Loki above Loki simply because like I think it's hard to make villains that you can relate and understand where they're coming from. And like I think that the Taskmaster stuff is particularly tragic um for Natasha, but like the Drake, like while he's very like compelling with like his portrayal, like the actor who plays Dreykov. He's just like kind of just this maniacal guy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like with Loki, it's like you know that he doesn't want to be a bad guy, but he has been pushed to this point due to betrayal and lies and things like that. That it's just like, man, I actually really feel for you and I feel sorry for you, and I felt that way ever since I watched the like Loki or Thor the first time in the theaters. I was just like, damn, this
Yeah.
really sucks. Like I don't feel like Loki is a bad guy. It's just
He gets the shit
he
under the stick.
That's
yeah,
exactly my
exactly.
thinking. I think Loki's
Exactly.
a lot more third dimensional than anything Taskmaster is, and certainly more than anything Dreykov is. Even though like those forces together have such a traumatic impact on Black Widow as a character, at the
I
end of the
agree.
day, I think Loki as a singular entity, him being so empathetic even to us as viewers, even though we know he's the quote unquote bad guy of the movie, and like being so third dimensional is a lot more fascinating to me as a viewer than anything Dreykov or Taskmaster was, even if Taskmaster was cool to see like in action.
Yeah. All
So
right,
for me,
Ruben.
it's number 2.
Ruben, my friend, you are the deciding factor.
So
What you got?
originally, I was gonna come in here and fuck shit up and say the duo of this movie was number 4. However, listening to listening
Okay.
to you guys talk shit, like I just really didn't like Taskmaster in this movie. Dreykov was far more better, and like Taskmaster was, they leveled each other out. Is
I
what
think
I
we
was
can agree. I think we can
Yeah.
generally agree with that.
Right. So, listening to you guys argue this, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go with number 2. Under
There we go.
Loki. Under
There
Loki.
we go.
Eat shit, Eric. Just kidding. I'm
But
sorry.
like everything that you're saying about like Eric is valid, like 100%.
He almost convinced me. I almost was like, fine, number 1, let's do
I
it.
just think that
No.
like it's like one of those things where like I see Loki more as an antagonist, not a villain.
Mhm.
And I think that normally when you say like, oh, this person's the antagonist, is because I can relate to the actions and the reasonings as to why they're doing what they're doing, which while villains are just like evil, you know what I mean? Um and that always like gives a step up for me.
It's
me a-
funny because after the next episode, we're gonna have a 1-2 that is both Loki. So I find that very fascinating.
Oh yeah,
So
because you guys got Avengers next.
Avengers is next. All right, Christian, take it away, my friend.
Give me a horny antagonist is the last thing I'll say about that. Then I'll relate to a character. Just kidding.
We
Ranking the
already have
Marvel
one.
movie.
We already have one, Loki and Loki.
You're so right. It's time to rank the Marvel movies. Here is the list we have so far. Number 5 in dead last is The Incredible Hulk. Number 4, Thor. Number 3, Iron Man 2. Number 2, Iron Man 1. And number 1, Captain America, the First Avenger. I want to start with Cam here.
It's number.
I wanna
With
hear.
that with that list, it's 100% number 1. But I think that like Captain America: The First Avenger is a very good film. I think it's on my personal top. I want to say it's in my personal top 10. Personally, I think it doesn't get enough love that it's literally sitting at number 10 now. After wait 1 2 3 4. Yeah, it's literally sitting at number 10 now.
10.
So before Black Widow was number 8 or number 9. I think that Captain America: The First Avenger does not get enough love. I hope it stays high on your list as you guys keep progressing through these. And yeah, number
Okay.
1.
Eric, my man.
Right now, of these lists, I have such a fond love of Captain America: The First Avenger, especially the first two acts. Like the third act, like derails a little bit, but those first 2 acts, like instilling who this person is so good. Like I have like Black Widow for me right now on this list is number 2. Of this list going on is number 2. Those first, like him picking up the garbage cans, the shield, him jumping on the dummy grenade, like those was our first introduction to Captain America, and it's like that set the tone for just this very good person. And so Black Widow is exceptional. It's still for me like upper mid tier, like almost in the top tier for me. But like of this list, Black Widow #2.
Christian, you're next.
Ruben?
No.
Oh, I'm next.
you're
Okay.
next, yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Eric for Captain America. I think pound for pound that movie is a lot tighter. I think the script is just a lot more fascinating. I like the look of Captain America. I think it sets him up very well. It's a lot of MCU defining moments. I know. I'm
Gibbs'
sorry.
face is priceless.
I know. I think it's just structurally it's a way tighter movie. Even if the third act does kind of waver, I think it's way better than Black Widow. I think Black Widow tries things that I don't vibe with, and like that's okay. Other people like it. And I'd go so far as to say the same case for Iron Man. So on this list for me, it's #3.
All right, Ruben, where you at?
Sorry.
What?
Wait, #3?
What?
Yeah.
You just
number
snuck
3.
that in there. I thought you were
I-
also going to say like it's better than Iron Man. Okay.
I think Iron Man 1 and Captain America 1 are better movies than Black Widow.
Dude, Iron Man 1 is like all the Iron Man films are like bottom tier MCU. Like, and I wouldn't say all of them, but like Iron Man 1 is like sixth from the bottom for me, and then Iron Man 2 is second to last for me.
Iron Man 3?
Like Iron Man 3 is I think Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man.
Yeah,
There we go.
baby.
There we go.
Yeah, but it's still right above Iron Man 1. So it's
Okay.
like, but like here's the thing, like there's like a tier of films. I don't want to go so deep into this, but like I think there's a tier of films that are like not bottom tier but low tier MCU
Yeah.
that are like all around the same quality. So if like
Captain
so
Marvel.
I could like name like a few
That's
of
bottom
those
tier.
films, which I won't say which because I think some of y'all will get mad at me. That I think that like fit in that same tier, but it's like at the bottom of that tier for me, if that makes sense. So yeah. But no, that's just insane.
Blasphemy?
But
You would hate my Pixar ranking.
oh, I bet I would.
I promise you, it's not the worst Pixar ranking I've ever seen, so it's okay. Ruben,
Yeah, lay it on us.
So here's the thing. This is why I didn't want to rank this movie because this list is like
here's the thing,
it's like-
Ruben. If you put it at number 1, it's at number 1 because I'm saying number 1 right now. You know what I mean?
yeah, but this is like comparing apples to oranges. I can't compare
Here-
these three. These
Here's the thing.
I know
Black
where you're
Widow-
going with this, Ruben.
Here's the thing. Well, before you make your judgment, this is what I'm gonna say. Here's the thing. I love Captain America: The First Avenger. I really do. Like, I am surprised how much y'all love this film, because that makes me really happy. But it's not like it's like the best. It's the best, in my opinion, Phase 1 film.
Mhm.
But like I think it's better than Avengers. Like I think it's aged better than the first Avengers film. But it's like as time has gone on, like I wouldn't say as time has gone on, but like I think Phase 1 feels so just beginner. You know what I mean? It just feels so like setup heavy that it just doesn't. It's fun to watch every like it's the Black Widow. I'm gonna type up Black Widow because that's the best way to explain it. Black Widow like proved it gave what we needed for Natasha, or like what Natasha deserved this entire time. It does more for that character. I think I think that Captain America: The First Avenger has great moments. But I think that as an overall film and what the film does for the character in itself is much better than what they do for Captain America, because like Captain America is like, oh, Red Skull bad, defeat Red Skull. Like it's not like, you know, what Eric was saying about Taskmaster's connection to Natasha and Dreykov's connection to Natasha, and like how the Red Room was in the sky. That was so cool. That was so unexpected. Did anyone actually expect that?
No, I didn't expect it.
It
I
was
thought it was
so
gonna be
cool.
underground. I thought it was.
I was just like, when they were saying like, oh, we're gonna land, but we're going up. I was just like, it's in the sky. Oh my god! Like, there's just so many. Like, if you told me that like hey, we're getting this Black Widow film, and it's gonna be one of my favorite MCU films by the time with it, I would like, you're crazy.
Yeah, right.
And like, and granted, like I know that you may not feel the same way, Ruben, but I'm saying like, I think that there were like a lot of genuine surprises that this film had. That I think that it should be, even if like, here's the thing, I'm not gonna ride and die like, hey, by the time that you guys rank the entire MCU, it's in your top 10, but it is better than all 5 of these films, and it kind of ain't close.
We're all in agreement it's better than Iron Man 2, though, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Iron Man 2 is one of the worst. It's second from the bottom.
We're definitely.
I needed to know. I needed to know.
With I know how Ruben's gonna go with this. I feel like freaking Matthew Mercer about to drop a story beat right now because like I just know I have like this thing right here. I just know where this is going. So Ruben,
Regis,
with it.
Tear my
Regis-
heart out. Tear my heart
Regis,
out right now.
I like to lock in my answer. Number 2.
Let's go, baby!
Wow!
Number 2.
Insane.
Over Iron Man.
Absolute. Oh, definitely over Iron Man.
Yes,
Like
over Iron Man.
Like, if anything, number 2. But even then, like, no.
I'm
Y'all
sorry.
know-
I'm sorry. The only way I'll give you this. There's so many things in Black Widow that I loved, but like the Captain America, the Steve and Bucky relationship, the Steve and
It's not even that good in the movie.
the
It's in
Steve
Winter
and
Soldier when it's
Peggy
good.
relationship, the
I
Steve
love
and
Peggy.
Peggy
Peggy is my
relationship.
favorite character in the
You
MCU.
can't top that, baby. You can't.
I agree.
Peggy is
No.
my favorite character in the entire MCU. In the entire
Damn,
MCU.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to do it. Okay.
No,
Don't-
you didn't.
Ladies,
bet
don't
money.
hate me.
Bet money. Did you watch Black Widow in theaters?
Yeah, I did.
Damn it. Well, I was gonna say, well, I mean, like you should have support your local theaters. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, like, bet money you watch Captain America: The First Avenger, and then you watch Black Widow back to back. You'll be like, oh, Black Widow's a better film. I bet money. I put $5 down on it.
We'll see.
I put $5 down on it.
We'll see.
I would disagree, but
We'll see. Also, like, Nazis.
It's just like again, I love the first Avenger.
Nazis
I
are your
love-
selling point, Ruben.
Like, you hate Nazis, Like,
I
hate
would say
Nazis.
like let's.
I love the
let's,
first Avenger, but you crazy. You crazy.
I like the
Listen,
meditations on toxic masculinity in the
You're
Captain
also
America, the
like,
First Avenger.
like, come on. You're talking to the biggest Captain America fan you probably know,
Like here's the thing, no. Like ever since since the MCU, like I'm a huge Captain America. Like Captain America. Like I just got a Captain America tank top. I want to get the metal shield that I know that you have, right, Ruben?
Ooh.
That's right, baby.
Like I want to get it. Like I want to save up and get it. Like I love Captain America now. Like Captain, like that. Like he is my favorite hero in the MCU. But like, or was. Well, it still is because Sam Wilson. Fuck yeah. And it's just like, it's just, again like when I watched the first Avenger, like this is a fun
You're welcome.
rewatchable film with some great moments for the MCU or like Steve characters moving forward. Again, when I was watching Black Widow, I was just like consistently, this movie's so good. What the hell is happening? And it just got, oh my god. It was
Sorry,
so good.
Kate. Sorry, Kate Shortland, aka director of Black Widow. You're no Joe Johnston. Captain America reigns on.
Again, Cam, if the Taskmaster character was stronger, I would have gone with.
They were just a blank slate, Ruben, for Dracoff to use.
And that's the
thing
problem.
with it.
Well, that's the problem, Eric. That's the problem.
But yeah, it is what it is. But I will say, knowing that you're going through all the MCU films, I'd love to come on and talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, the best MCU film.
Don't get him on. Don't get him on for that shit. Guardians
best-
1 is not that good.
Yes, it is. It
Guardians
is the
1
best
is-
MCU film. It is
It
not
is
even
not
close.
that good.
No, wait,
It is
oh,
the-
okay, Cam, let's
Guardians
not.
one-
Christian, what's your favorite MCU film right now? Tell me right now.
I think it's Infinity War.
Okay,
No,
Infinity
No,
War
it's,
is number
it's
two.
Civil War. It's Civil War.
We've talked about this, Christian. It's Civil War.
Civil War. That's right. Civil War. Civil War.
War? Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
We
Oh
freaked
my
out-
god.
freaked out
Listen,
Astra.
If you don't like it, start your own movie podcast, huh?
Civil
All right.
Civil War is, I mean, it's top, it's like top tier, but it's not, no. Guardians is way better.
Cam, come on. Civil War is really, really good. Guardians
No,
1.
Guardians is better.
It's better than 2. So that's
Guardians 2 is better than
2's
one.
better than
No,
one.
it was not. Guardians
Let's
2.
go.
Let's go.
Yep.
Yes.
No, when I saw no, because I was a big Guardians 1 fan. I mean, like, again, it's been my favorite MCU film since I saw it, and it still holds up. When I saw Guardians 2, I left the theater visually angry. Visually.
Because it was
Wow.
that bad. Because it was that bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
Guardians 1?
No,
No,
Guardians
he
2.
said
Oh,
Guardians
I
2.
heard him say Guardians 1. Listen, man.
Like people, hold on. Like, here's the thing. Like when I ask people what's so great about Guardians 2, they'll be like, "He may not have been your father, but he sure wasn't your dad." I'm like, that is the only line. Like, that is not bad.
what a
The
tragedy.
entire movie. The movie is a mess. It's like the writing. It's like the writing in that movie is just like, hey, haha, you remember like that humor that you liked in the first movie? Well, we're doing it again, but they're making it super obvious. The humor is very, very
Oh,
like.
come on. You
rough.
have Chris Pratt in the first movie going like this to show his middle finger. That is
was
totally
funny.
that is
That was
childish.
funny.
That wasn't funny.
whatever.
That wasn't
He's
funny.
childish. He's childish.
Cam, we'll see if we have you back on for Guardians of the Galaxy. But for now, it's time to say goodnight. Christian, where can people find you?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the ranking so far is The Incredible Hulk is number 6, 5 is Thor, 4 is Iron Man 2, got Iron Man 3 in number 3, number 2, Black Widow, and number 1, Captain America, the First Avenger. You can follow me at IsoChristian for all my apparently hot movie takes on the MCU, as well as updates on my movie podcast at Large Popcorn. Thank you.
Cam, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Cam Final Mix. You can find me at Cam Final Mix, now verified on Twitter.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes. It's been a long time coming. And I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cam Final Mix. And I'm actually probably going to stream soon, tonight.
Guardians
gonna
1?
start up No More
Halo?
Heroes. No More Heroes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's my new series playthrough is No More Heroes. Gearing up for No More Heroes 3 that comes out next month.
Okay, cool. Eric, where can people find you?
Hey, just Eric C again on Twitter, just getting ready to be a dad, so that's fun. We have new stuff coming in. My mother got me the cringy "I've leveled up to be a dad" shirt, so I'm excited to wear those. She also got me a Dad Man shirt with the bat logo, so very fun about that. Very
Nice.
excited for when Ruby gets old enough so she can appreciate the MCU. It's going to be great. It's going to be a fun time. So that's what I got. Enjoying Sackboy. That's a great game. I love that game.
Before she watches the MCU, you gotta show her the best Marvel film, Spider-Man 2.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening.
Eric,
happening.
here's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter what your other opinions are,
Spider-Man 2
the
is
best
by far-
movie.
I-
Spider-Man fucking 2!
Let's
Tobey
go.
Maguire, Doc Ock, Alfred Molina.
We all
the
agree
GOAT.
on this. We all agree.
Be careful, he's a hero.
We all agree.
Dude, I'm not gonna go on this much longer, but like, y'all, when Kind of Funny was watching the Spider-Man films,
Cameron, let's not talk about that. It brings up it's too much.
I aged
What happened?
20 years. I aged 20.
Don't,
They
Christian,
put
don't.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as number 1.
What?
Yes.
Wait, I
They
kind of
put
understand it.
it
I like watching Garfield. Like,
Okay,
shoot
all
around.
right. Let's not talk about. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
It's the
I-
wildest thing ever.
No.
I died.
When Tobey Maguire comes back as a variant in Spider-Man No Way Home, we'll
When
be
Tobey
ready.
Maguire comes back as Uncle Ben,
Say it,
we will
oh, you
find
said
out.
it.
End the show, Ruben, please.
Please end it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Excelsior.
Excel.